My soul bows to you. Namaskar. Namaskar, everyone. It's day 16 of our meditation series. Yesterday I spoke about that power that lies within, that we are constantly tapping into. Each time we create a thought or an emotion or desire, we are tapping into a field of infinite energy within us. And we tend to take credit for that we are doing it, in ignorance of what is really inside of us that we are tapping into. And I said the power that's inside of us is driving us to seek. So when we are seeking and we think that we are the seeker and that we are seeking, it is that evolutionary drive in the consciousness, that divine power inside of us that is driving us to seek, because it's trapped in its infinite energy at the base of the spine. This is what we call the Kundalini energy. And it's seeking now to free itself from that hold. It's called the coiled power. So when it is coiled, it is held in potential energy there, like a spring that is wound. So it's a wound up spring. So then it's seeking to unwind. It is seeking to free itself. And then there's this journey that we have in the subtle space along the spinal column, coming right up to the crown. In the crown, there is infinite consciousness. At the base, there is infinite energy and potential and a sleeping power. That gives us limited consciousness. When this sleeping power is in sleeping mode, then it limits our consciousness. And that's why we think that we are humans instead of divine. But when that sleeping power gets awakened by the power of the Guru, the support of the Guru, or our very strong efforts, this power is awakened, then the consciousness begins to expand as it ascends the spinal column, going to every energy center that we call a chakra. And as the consciousness expands, we feel more energy because we are tapping into more energy and bringing it into manifestation. And as we bring more energy into manifestation by opening up the consciousness, we become more and more aware, more and more powerful. But as that happens, we tend to take credit that it is our power. But truly, it's a power so much greater than us. It's a divine power within us. And so yesterday I said that we need to give attention to that divine power as we work, because we are working in that power, with that power. So the more we are conscious of that, acknowledge that, and tap into that with that reverence, the more that space will open up to us. So we need to work in harmony or in alignment with that inner power. It's a marvelous journey of tapping into that infinite potential of energy that we have within us. That is what the divine is. In my experiences, that is what made me aware that there is a God. Not images on the outside, not ideas, but the experience that there is some power inside of me that is seeking expression in and through me. That became the God to me, the God within, the power that exists within me. In the spiritual tradition of India, in the holy book of the Vedas, there's a mantra that says, Aham Brahmasmi. Aham means the I. And it says the I is nothing else but the divine expressing itself. Aham Brahmasmi. And then when the seeker begins to repeat the mantra that my I is divine, my I is divine, my I is divine, it is really taking an inward journey to that power that is behind the I. Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi. And then in the Christian tradition, we see in Him we live, move, and have our being. It's the same, that our being is in Him, in that. So in the meditation, it's extremely important to acknowledge that power that we are tapping into and to work in harmony with it in its evolutionary drive to expand our consciousness, the cosmic awareness, where we feel merged into that space of infinite consciousness. We become one with it. Because we are still in a form, we're still in an individuality, we can become one with it. We can become so attuned to that inner consciousness that we begin to vibrate with the consciousness that I am that. I am that. That's the Aham Brahmasmi consciousness. So today in our meditation, I want to focus on the chakra that brings us into that awareness, that Aham Brahmasmi, that I am that, I am divine. We ascribe the word that to the divine because the divine is beyond description. That means something that we really cannot describe, something that is beyond. In the Sanskrit, in the spiritual tradition of India, it's Tat. So Tat Tomasi is a mantra that says, thou art that. That. You are that. So to come into this awareness, we need the power of the brow. And this is called the Guru Chakra inside. Why the Guru Chakra? Because it brings us into a place of self-mastery. It brings us into a place of divine awareness, but in co-creative mode. Not in the mode of subjection, but in the mode of being a part of. When your brow chakra becomes awakened, you actually feel that this I in you is divine. That puts you into a whole new shift of awareness, that my I is divine. So it means then when you act, you can feel that the divine is with you behind the action. Because when you say, I am that, you can actually feel that the divine is behind your I. Not that you're repeating it just mechanically. You're repeating it because you begin to feel the divine power behind your I. So when you say, I am that, you can feel this huge power behind your I. That is what happens when you come to the brow. The brow is the center of the mental space. It is the home of the ego, the root of the ego. Ego is rooted in mental power, mental thinking. So when you come to this chakra, the I now begins to get the chance to really understand its nature. Here, with the support of the Master, with proper guidance, with the grace of the Supreme, we begin to feel that I within us begins to be divine. And when we say, I am that, I am that, I am that, we feel this huge power behind us. That's how you test the brow to know if you are really in resonance with the divine. When you begin to say the mantra there, you begin to experience its power. You begin to become the meaning of the mantra. You begin to realize the potency and meaning of the mantra. So hence the brow chakra is an important one. So you notice in this meditation series how I emphasize the mental space. Stay aware in the mental space. Stay in the present moment. And from that mental space, give attention to every other experience of the I. The emotional I, the vital I, the sexual I, the physical I. Every other quality that is associated with the ego. So the root of the ego is in the mental space. And all the other chakras are associated qualities to that I. So this I is the leader. This is the guru in the inner space. So there is a master within you. The master outside of us is only a support to wake up the inner master. Any true master will be the support to wake up the master within you. If the master within you is not awakened, then the outer master has not done the job properly. or you have not been the worthy disciple. That happens with the brow consciousness. So in today's meditation, I want you to focus on the Guru Chakra. And from there, look at all the other chakras. They are subservient to the Guru Chakra. And the Guru Chakra is the one that can connect to the divine. When the ego is placed here, now it is placed in a way that it can begin to associate with the divine. And if you look at the analogy with the chariot, when the charioteer is in a good relationship with the traveler inside the chariot, then the charioteer will know where to go. If it is not in touch with the traveler inside of a chariot, the charioteer, then how would the charioteer get directions as to where to go? So we need this brow chakra to be in association with the crown, with the space of infinite consciousness, that it may be guided intuitively. It will know what to do. So brow chakra needs to have an association with crown, which means an infinite space. So I'm always asking you in the meditation, open up the consciousness, open up, open up. Move away from conditioning, move away from belief system, move away from limited thinking, open up intuitively. So your eye needs to constantly be in a deep relationship with that infinite consciousness. And then from there, it needs to manage the lower centers. And that's where the manas is together with the senses. The mind associated with the senses. But today, let's observe in the meditation the Guru Chakra. The chakra of self-mastery, the chakra of becoming aware that our I is rooted in the divine. The I has no power except through the divine. So let's go into the meditation today. Let's give attention to the consciousness space. That is our subtle space of being. Bring your attention to the present moment. Give attention to the mental space of being. Observing the thoughts. Detach from thoughts if they arise. We need to see or perceive a clear mental space with the potential to think, the power to think, but we are not using it to create any thought. We're using the mental space just to observe. And now let's come into that limitless space of being by opening up the mental space to the vastness of the consciousness in a space of silence. So you're listening to the silence in that inner space. And you're observing its vastness. Vastness meaning unlimited potential to think. Mind becomes quiet, peaceful, alert in the present moment. If thoughts come, let them go. No conflict with them, just pure acceptance of their existence, but giving them no power with your attention. And then take your attention to the center of the eyebrows and to the back of the neck at the medulla point. And now just breathe with awareness of that point. This is a pranayama experience. So you breathe out first. Always emphasize the out breath. That allows you to be able to pull the breath in. So you're using pranic action, pranic power to push the breath out and to draw the breath in. We use apana vayu to breathe out and prana vayu to breathe in. Those are all vital airs or vital power of the breath. Listen to the sound of the ujjayi breath. You're breathing into the eyebrow center. What it does is it brings the pranic energy into the brain area. It energizes the brain. And the prana that drives the breath also drives the mind and thought. So by managing the prana of the breath, you're also managing the prana of the mind. The thinking power of the mind. And always remember to breathe rhythmically, in gentle flow. Now you should be keeping the neck firm and your consciousness at the back of the neck, at the medulla point. And you should be delighting in the sound of the breath. Quiet mind, peaceful mind, open mind, limitless mind, expansive mind. And here you are, really getting in touch with the power that lies behind the mind. You're creating a divine relationship with the infinite consciousness. Now observe the I, the ego, in its posture here. And move away from that ahankar power, that power of selfishness, the doer, I am the doer. Move away from that and take the posture of instrument. The divine is doing, I'm the instrument. The power of the prana is from the divine. The power of the thought is from the divine. I am the instrument of doing. So in this Guru Chakra, take the position of instrument in the doing. And now as you stretch the breath, create that connection with the crown. Giving attention to the throat, because throat consciousness is the consciousness of space. So as you breathe into the throat, going up to the center of the eyebrows and the back of the neck, stay conscious of the throat. Throat brings us into the space of silence. And now commune here with that infinite space inside of you. Create a relationship with it. I exist in the divine. Let your I hold the awareness of its existence in the divine. This is how you build the divine consciousness around the ego. Instrument of doing. Stay with the breath until that chakra begins to reveal its power to you. The more you are in instrument mode, the more power will be granted to you. The more peace will enter your space. The more intuitive awareness will manifest. Stay in that relationship with the infinite divine. You'll realize that this brain part of you is the most important part in that relationship with the divine. You carry two important chakras in the head. The brow chakra and the crown. So this here is the enlightenment relationship. This is where the ego come more and more into divine consciousness. Now as you do this, let's ensure that the body is firm, steady, and strong as we try to bring the divine fully into our consciousness. So take your attention from that brow right down the spinal column to the root center, the perineum area. And in your in-breath, connect that perineum area with that medulla point at the back of the neck and the center of the eyebrows. And as you connect with that perineum point, you can contract that perineum area in the in-breath if you feel you need to be strong in the body or firm in the body's posture. So you're still at the center of the eyebrows, bringing more consciousness now of the root center of the body. Straight spine, firm posture, symmetrical. And stay with that strong eyebrow focus. So now the entire spinal column is in that stream of energy. So you're breathing from the root center, that is infinite energy and potential, right up to the brow in a relationship with the crown, and the crown is infinite consciousness. So you have the consciousness of the root, which holds you in the body firmly. You have the consciousness of the throat, which gives you spaciousness in the consciousness. You have the consciousness of the brow in relationship with the crown. Now stay with this process. Staying in the awareness of your divine nature. I exist in the divine. I am is divine. So you're centering in the inner guru, the part of you that seek a deep relationship with the divine, seeking to be empowered. Stay aware of the perineum area and the entire spinal column. Stay conscious of the breath. And now let's bring the ego into a more outward focus. Keeping that relationship with the divine. And the posture of instrument, not the doer, instrument of the divine. And now let's come down to the heart center. It's a center that will bring us into unity with the outer space. So give attention to the center of the chest, and now we will wake up the power in our arms. We are more conscious of lungs breathing, heart beating, chest awareness. And at the very center of the chest, we come to the consciousness of the heart chakra. And here God becomes love. The divine becomes love. Here we channel the power of love. So as you open up to be an instrument, you hold that desire that the love of the divine will flow in and through you. So as you breathe out, think of that love flowing through the out breath into the space. And through your entire body. And as you breathe in, focus on making that deeper connection with the center of infinite love within you. This brings you into kindness, compassion, forgiveness, and an unburdening of the emotional space. This is the center of relationship building. So you open up the consciousness there. Letting the joyfulness of love fill your being. And seeking only to be an instrument of love. So the ego gets another experience of the divine. Divine as love, selfless love. In relationship. Extend the breath. Now, let's go into another relationship by breathing deeply into the gut, the navel center. Push the breath out by contracting that navel area, and then breathe in fully. In belly breathing. Now you're tapping into the vital power at the core of the body. Again, the mode of instrument, the divine is the doer. You create that desire, which is a prompt to bring the divine into manifestation. And divine is seen here as vital power in the core that gives you strength and confidence. Manifesting in and through the body. Vitality in the body, firepower in the body. So ensure that you are in a proper posture for belly breathing. And open up the belly to breathe. Now belly breathing means opening up the belly from way down at the second chakra to beneath the rib cage as you meet with the heart. The heart chakra, open up the belly fully. Learn to open up the belly fully. Filling that area below the rib cage. So the entire solar plexus area opens up. And here you really feel that body is being recharged, revitalized, as the nervous system of the gut gets a powerful boost. And confidence and radiance and vitality comes into the body's field. So here the ego is coming into a very powerful relationship with a vital area of the physicality. Again, it's in posture of the divine that is creating the shine and radiance in the body. So ego feels blessed. And then bring your consciousness to the second chakra, sacral chakra, sexual chakra. And as you focus on that sacral area, unite it with the heart and with the brow. Open it up to the heart and to the brow as you breathe in. And you will experience what we call transmuting process, bringing vitality into the body from that sacral center and strengthening the mind. And as you do that, take the consciousness one step below into the root, and the root really grounds you firmly in the body as you fill the belly with prana. Root center allows you to experience firmness of body, rooted to the earth. And now your entire spinal column is energized. And your mind is in an outward focus, but inward centered. And now this is the posture of total well-being. And here, whilst keeping a root focus, you take the breath up the spinal column to the back of the neck, in the brain, and then breathe down the center line of the body, nourishing the body as you breathe down, right down to the perineum again. And you create this orbit of energy that is revitalizing the body. So there should be an experience of total balance and deep inward centering. And now you're ready for a new day. Give attention to the day ahead. As you breathe in, power up the senses. Hearing at the throat, touch at the heart, seeing at the navel, tasting at the sacral area, and smelling at the root. By breathing into these centers, you sharpen the power of the sense there. And come into a harmonious relationship with the elements of nature. Space at the throat, air at the heart, fire at the navel, water at the sacral, and earth at the root. Become more aware of the elements in the body and in nature around you. And your consciousness is of harmonious coexistence with all of life. Now let's look ahead to a new day. Creating that intention to stay inwardly centered in the divine, outwardly focused and ready for a new day. In the posture of instrument, not the doer. Let's create this intention and affirm it. I center my consciousness in that source of infinite being within me, that source of infinite peace, love, goodness, wisdom, and vitality. I center my consciousness there in present moment awareness. I stay centered there with my intention that my every thought, my every word, my every action in this day be a blessing to my world. I give thanks for all the blessings I have received. And I pray to continue to be worthy. Om. Peace, peace, peace. Thank you, everyone. I hope that you had a nourishing meditation and an insightful one, that you're going to continue this practice of being inwardly centered and outwardly balanced in your relationship with the outer space. We are spiritual beings in the human experience. We need to be centered in that spiritual domain within us and to be in alignment with that divine space as we relate to the space around us. In the posture of instrument. A lot was said in today's talk and meditation. It would be useful to listen to this again and again until you can really absorb the wisdom and the practice. This series is designed to help you in your meditation practice. It is useful to the beginner and to the most advanced. I hope that you will continue to go through these days, and when the series is finished, that you can continue to practice again, that you can really learn the art of meditation. It's a key practice. And there's a science behind it, as I've been trying to show you. So it's Sunday today. It's a wonderful day in our world, marvelous energies in the space. So I want to wish you a happy Sunday. We look forward to day 17 tomorrow as we count on the last week. Have a blessed day, everyone. My soul bows to you. Namaskar.